Hey, we're on our way to my doctor's appointment today. They're going to do a procedure. Haven't had one in that same procedure since last year. I might as well start saying it. I know I'm well aware that I would say, I say that I'm not going to say what specialty it is. They're specialists. But, I mean, it's obvious with the way I talk around it. I'm well aware. It makes me sound dumb. But yeah, this one I'm going to is a cardiologist, yet another one, and I've seen this one. Actually, I saw him for a few minutes. It was his nurse I saw for longer. Adam was with me. She basically said she's a nurse, his nurse, and she does all the getting the information, telling what this and that, and then he comes in and saves the day for a few minutes. And that's basically what he did. He didn't even sit down. He just leaned up against something. I found him different than what I expected. Much different. And that's I've had so many cardiologists. I don't trust them. I really don't. The ones I've seen, not all of them, but not all of them. I'm going to stress that, not all of them. But those that stood out bad, they seem like used car salesmen. That's their pitch, their tactics. That stereotype of used car salesman. I don't like stereotypes, but that stereotype. Pushy, this, that, and that's how I see them. They, whatever happened to let's actually do something with the patient as far as helping them. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Adam came out, but he wants to go smoke him a cigarette. So, anyway, he said he hadn't had one in hours. Okay, but anyway, he's supposed to be quitting. Yeah, he said it again a few days ago, but no, he didn't. So, anyway, I like her shirt. It's a smock. Yeah, I like that one. It's cute. Anyway, I'm wearing one too right now. I like the pockets. But, anyway, I just don't trust them. And before, I was having feelings of anxiety earlier today. I didn't sleep that much last night. But I was having feelings of anxiety again over this. Oh, forgive me. Okay, I had to clear my throat again. Oh my gosh. But I just did my inhaler. I hadn't done it since the 5th, and today's the 9th. So what in the world? Okay, I've had my phone for, how many years? Over 20, I'd say. Over 20. But yes, definitely over 20. Maybe 25 years. Same phone number. And this guy called, asked for, is Herman? I couldn't hear him at first. And then he said, I said, excuse me, hold on. He said, yeah, but is he available? I said, who are you calling for? He said, Herman. I said, do not ever call this number again. You people, and we didn't say you people. Whenever you hear you people, it's bad. But on the person who's saying it, generally. I said, I've had, I don't even think I finished it. I said, I'm reporting you. He said, well, that's okay, but, and I just hung up and reported it. Spam. Ugh. Oh, I put fraud, I think. Just really quick. I don't need this kind of crap. I am so sick of people and things that, people who are greedy and people who don't care, people who think that they own everything and they have every right in the world, and, to annoy people, to take people's time. And I made a video about the people who, in one visit in the grocery store, just one visit, and it's an always thing these days. Always. I remember sorting videos back. I've been making videos. It'll be 12 years in September, and as time progressed over this, more and more and more as time went on, complaining about how many people have such a high sense of entitlement, and that they truly believe that They can, the other people's time is theirs. If they're looking for money, if they're wanting money, oh yeah, your time is mine. You know, this kind of mentality. Or the woman yesterday in the grocery store, who was probably 45 years old. Nothing special about her, and even if it was, it wouldn't matter to me. She told me to move out of her way. How dare she? I told her, I let her know. I let her know, and people around, I didn't yell or scream or anything, but I used my stern, firm voice when I told her, stand in line and wait your turn. I said, who do you think you are? Are you entitled to much? Adam's watching me, and he's laughing. Adam went in to get me something to eat. I said, run in there. I said, you know, I won't be running anywhere right now. But anyway, because I realized that it could be like 5 or 6 o'clock by the time I get out of there. Shouldn't be, but I'd say 5 o'clock. And I had half of a sandwich. There was nothing on it but one piece of bread, which I don't usually eat bread, and 2 very, very slim, those, what do they call them? You know, to make one, it's 4. To make one of a regular piece of ham, use 4. But I only use 2. Very thin sliced. So what was I thinking? Okay, that was my whole meal today. I had one of those little boxes of raisins before that for breakfast. It's 2 o'clock, 2:04. So he went in to get me something, because I really honestly didn't think it through, because I have to do this procedure, then they talk about it. Anyway, I was, like I said, I was talking about being a little nervous this morning and feeling a little anxiety, and it's because not only just this, people seeming so entitled, but these doctors. I mean, really, I'd hoped this year it wouldn't be bad. And I was talking about, when did they ever just do something like, okay, let's talk about, this is the diet, not diet to lose weight, but this is how you need to eat. You need to eat this, this, and this, and this, and stress it. I mean, I can look it up, and of course I have. I'm like, that's not far from what I already eat. But, also there's some answers like these compression socks things. I remember my dad died when he was a year younger, 2 years younger than I am. And I remember him wearing compression socks, and or he was supposed to, I don't know. But I've tried them, I bought some, and I don't have real big legs or anything. And I see the example in the thing, and they do have big legs, and I think, okay, these won't be too tight on me. And I even ordered them, measured myself and ordered them like that. They were so freaking tight. Some of them I clipped, and they said, don't do that, but I already did. And so I did the other ones that were the same way. But they were too tight. And then I have another pair that is thinner, but they still leave that ring around the top. The rest of it, they're tight, but they're supposed to be. And then the doctor's not a cardiologist. She had said, you'll get used to it. You're not the one. She was all of maybe, say, 35 years old. Yeah. She knows all about them. I'm being mean. Because, no, they don't have to have experienced them to know. Whatever field, you don't have to have experience, generally in those kinds of fields, whether it's mental or physical health. Generally. But anyway, what is this building? Oh, anyway, yeah, I'm just kind of fed up. I am really kind of fed up with used car salesman techniques. And I told Adam, and he said what he thinks we should do when we go in there. And when I told him, I said, I don't know how, what I want to say. If they start some BS. And I had to pause there for a second. And he said, let's just tell them that we're going to go home and think about it. We're going to go home and think about it and have a discussion, you know, Adam and I. And I said, yeah, we could do that. But, you know, I'm really not like that. And I know I'm trying not to be quick to anger, but mine isn't really anger, it's just disgust. I'm just disgusted by it. I'm tired of it. You know, seriously, doctors should not be thinking only cha-ching, cha-ching, like people say. And that is what it is. I'm not born yesterday. Okay, I'm out. We're right here for right now. I'm about to leave again. Go somewhere else. But, yeah, I'm kind of glad that I did what I did. I ticked the doctor off. That's all I have to say. But anyway, I mean, I agree with it. I really ticked him off that he had to get up and walk out of the room and come back. He's not the first doctor I've ticked off. I ticked off that Adam's doctor too before, but for me. Anyway, but no, he thinks that the guidelines say change all your medications at once, and I disagree. I'm not going to do it. And I let him know. I said, me with my rare health condition, I made a list of what kind of medications work right for other people, but not for me. And I said, right now I just have 10 written on it. That's just 10 of them. Okay, and I was trying to remember what years and how much and all that stuff. But it's still 10 medications won't work the same way for me because I have this rare health condition. And they want me to start on five or six different medications at once. And then if something goes wrong, let's think about that. I'm an extremely logical person who's actually a genius. Literally a genius. I can tell you, you take 6 medications at one time, start off, and one of them goes wrong, how are you going to know which one it is? Yeah. I didn't say that to the doctor, but Adam was sitting there. He wasn't really saying much. But I think Adam was glad, too, that I just let him know how I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to rush it, because he was mad that I wasn't doing this, and he's mad I don't want to do this test and all this stuff. I said, I'm going to do one thing at a time. He said, well, I reluctantly will agree to that. You know, it's doing one thing at a time. But reluctantly, it's fine by me. And I even let him know, I said, this doctor, one of them told me, you're going to have this angiogram whether you like it or not. And he said, oh no, that's wrong. He can't do that. He can't say that. Well, he did. Not him, this other doctor. You don't tell me. And I told him, I said, it's not about him, it's about me. And he was agreeing with me. You get me on a roll, man. I'm telling you, I've been a little feisty lately. After almost dying again, feeling like I was dying for a month and a half. No, you're not going to bully me into going real fast on medications. So we're going to do it this way. The one medication, one of the 3 I had to get off of, 2 of them, you know, not now. One of them never will, the one from a rare health condition. The other one, we're going to half it. Half of the pill, take it, in 3 weeks come back and see. I have to get one of those pill cutters, you know, to cut it in half and see what it, if the problem that it caused me comes back. Okay, which was, it took all the, it attacked my feet. Okay, it sucked all the water out of my feet, made them dry. I mentioned all that. That's why I'm saying I knew what I was saying, and you know, people say, "Oh well, it must be this, that." But it was dry, and to where I understand. You know, I'm white, but I know people I've had in my life who are African American. They call it ashy, and that is right on target to me. That is what it looks like, ash that comes right out of the fireplace. And that kind of ashy look to it. It was awful. I mean, I had that on top of that weight gain, crazy. They have it at, what I was weighing when I was in their last, and I had gained weight after that. But at this point, from what they had before to what they have now, it was 26 pounds that I've lost. I've lost 30 altogether. So I gained weight after I saw them last. So we'll see what it is, and when I come back the next time. But yeah, Adam, he was quiet. The doctor was pissed off. I think Adam may have been a little intimidated, because I'm not intimidated by big guys, because my dad was 6'7", built like a linebacker, I'm not, and this guy's tall, and I think he's 6 foot or something, and he's built like a linebacker. I'm not intimidated by that. I don't know about Adam. So, okay, it's later in the day, and man, am I tired. But going to that cardiologist, and that was only the second time. And the nurse there, this time she didn't even come in. Instead, they brought in a woman first, before I saw the cardiologist. It was a woman who, she said she'd been at 20 years or something. But she was like an office manager or something like that. It's not the term she used, but the position she stated, but something. And I got the gist of it. These, because he even said, I've been practicing for over 40 years. Okay, I can use 40 years I've been in this body for 63. I know how ridiculous it sounds. But no, I have a rare health condition I've had since I was a child. That has to be taken into consideration, and he was not doing that. Okay, he was not doing that. He was trying, he said it's very, what was the term he used? Basically, they do the same thing. He was admitting it. With every patient, they do the same thing. They have a list of what they do, which procedures, which test procedures they go through, and it's very cut and dried kind of thing. This is not cut and dry. What is the term? It's along that line, though, that they just follow the same pattern. Well, so what? I'm not those people. I'm not that person. I'm not that person. I have a rare health condition that medication sometimes does not work for me, that works for other people. And I told him that flat out. I told him flat. He can't argue with me. When I'm in this mood, I was trained, and I took was part of a, what's it called, debate team. Okay, you're not gonna win. You're not gonna win with me. I refuse to let you win with me when you're not being logical, when you're being arrogant and self-centered. And just because you would do it 40 years, so what? You're sitting there telling me you do this the same with every patient. I'm not every patient. Not every patient doesn't have a rare health condition. It's rare. It's very rare. And it causes all kinds of problems. But no, you're going to treat me the same as you're going to treat everybody. And I'm flat out telling you, no, it doesn't work that way. It's a bad thing that you have to educate these doctors, because a lot of them, I mean, seriously, they don't know. And this one is so arrogant. The doctor that does know it are endocrinologists and internal medicine, usually those two. Okay, I've had both. Okay, both, recently even. And no, they don't want to hear about what they have to say. You see? Because they would tell them. I cannot imagine them not telling them. But no, one of them, the attitude some of them have toward one another. One field to another, like this one was in, or one of them telling me, yeah, it does sound kind of suspicious, doesn't it? He didn't agree. I see him as used car salesman, and I'm not convinced otherwise yet. And kind of bullying, the whole stereotype. Like I say, I don't agree with stereotypes. I don't think it's just that, but that's the stereotype that people would know. The attitude of a used car salesman, or a what are they called? Snake oil salesman, too. Not in this case, I wouldn't call him a snake oil salesman, but in a way, yeah. Because he wants me to take, I told his nurse, and she told me one of the medications or two that I needed to get at this, I'm not even going to name this one, but it's a specialty, and not the very well-known one. I had never even heard, and neither had Adam heard of this one before. But a medication from a certain pharmacy. And it's so rare, it goes through that one. When they start talking that bull crap, I just said bull crap instead of what my brain was about to pop out. No, yeah, How are you getting a payoff from it? I'm very suspicious. Seriously, you want to know what I taught at college and university? I got criminal justice majors for one. I mean, many of my students, I would say most of my students were criminal justice majors. Okay, most of them, I would say. You know, some of them they took it for, you know, they took a requirement, and I actually started off with it as my minor. But one of them, you know, I'm a social and behavioral scientist, as a minor, and then I became more and more interested and made it as a double major with psychology and combination psychology and sociology. Yeah, it's a double major. And then in graduate school, oh my goodness, I could have had something like 4, let's just say 4 masters. I have one, a master's degree, but I could have had like 4 if I would have just taken an extra class here and there. But I was working on a PhD also at the same time, you know. And these people are trying to intimidate me, trying to act like they're superior. I don't play the totem pole game. I don't play the the whole hierarchy, who's on top. But I'll talk about it. I know how it works, and they're not it. They are not it. I don't know anybody, and never met anybody with my level of education and the rest combined. No, it's very rare. Oh, it really is. I know I laugh a lot. It's like I laugh a lot because of the audacity of these people, the nerve of some of these people to think that they are like that woman yesterday told me to move out of her way in a grocery store. And I said, you stand in line and wait your turn. What is wrong with you? You're going to ask somebody who's in an electric shopping cart to move out of your way? Or do you feel entitled? Something like that. I said it loud enough, stern enough. I had it. I think she kind of ran. And I laughed because the nerve of this woman, you know, just like the nerve of these doctors, the nerve of these nurses, the MAs, you know, especially they go to school 4 to 8 weeks, some of them. And suddenly they are superior, and they use that fake voice, you know. When you speak to my manager, you know, the one that called me that time that seemed to be had way too much Red Bull, wanting me to give her my credit card over the phone to pay $1,700, which was already I'd already what is it called? Not the copay, but the out-of-pocket, which had already been done, and she thought I was going to fall for it, and I said, no, you see, and this is something I need to really, you know, because these videos are for me, okay, but this is something, part of it, that I really need to talk about for me, you know, is what good would have all that education have done, what good would all of it have done me if I fell for all this crap? If I didn't notice their crap, if I didn't notice they were like acting like used car salesmen, snake oil salesmen, there's used car salesman here, I wouldn't be, how is the expression, I wouldn't be worth my salt or something like that. And that's plain and simple. I would not be worth all those years, over 20 years of learning, and then on top of it, teaching at college and university. Come on now. To notice a woman who thinks that she's entitled, even if maybe she, like I said yesterday, maybe she thought I was an employee and scooting around on a scooter or something. And you think you're going to speak to an employee that way too? You're entitled? Sitting on a pedestal? Move out of my way? She got her body so close to my... I did put that video up today on one of my channels. I'm going to try to remember to do this one too. That's not what the channel is for, but in the same way it is. It's about narcissism and, you know, other cluster Bs and overall toxic people in their ways. Perhaps. Anyway, wrapping this up.